Welcome. Happy Saturday. It's your girl Sharita, the behavior and learning strategist, coming at you from the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for your child's behavior and learning challenges. I'm so excited right now because I want to talk to you today about one of my greatest passions. You're talking to like the biggest word nerd on the planet. I love reading myself. I've been reading since, of course, I was about to say since I was a little girl, but I'll talk about my oldest daughter. We went to Maya's karate class, and my oldest daughter, Jazzy, reminded me of myself. She had a book with her that she was reading. Everywhere she goes, she always takes a book. And that's how I was growing up, right? So I'm very passionate about kids knowing how to read. And whenever I come across a child who's reading below grade level and struggling and it's affecting their self-esteem, like I feel like I gotta do something about that because it is really not such a hard fix, okay? So I'm very excited to talk to you about ways to get your child to read more today. Some of my special ways that I've used over the years and I continue to use. I have lots, y'all, but this is just some of what I've learned, okay? So first, let me introduce you to myself, to me. Again, my name is Sharita, Sharita Morgan. I am a wife and a mother, married to my high school sweetheart, Kevin, since we met in high school, so 1997 is when we first met. I'm dating myself, y'all. I'm dating myself, but we all grown, we all parents here, right? And also, we have two beautiful daughters, Jazzy, who's 15, and then 10 years later, we decided to have Maya. She's 5 years old right now, okay? And I've been teaching my own children at home. I've always homeschooled my children, whether they've gone to public school or not. Learning is continuous in my household. I have 5 of these boards lying around, books everywhere, right? And both of my girls were early readers, okay? Right now, I started out as a mental health specialist, my career as a mental health specialist at UMDNJ in Newark, my stomping ground. I'm born in Newark, okay? And then I went on to become a special education teacher. I felt an urge to do that because when we were helping the kids when they came from school to the partial hospitalization program, they had behavior challenges and disorders, and we were helping them with their homework. They would completely fall apart and they would act out, and it became very difficult to manage their behavior because they were running so hard away from their homework because they couldn't read, they couldn't read it on their own, they couldn't do it themselves, they were very focused, they couldn't write their names. It was just a lot of anxiety. So eventually we just stopped doing it because that wasn't even our focus. But your girl was like, I want to get to the classroom where I can teach kids about their behavior and focus, but also their reading at the same time. So that's what I did. And I had my first daughter, Jazzy. That was it. That was it for me. I wanted to spend more time with her. I wanted to be home more. Because the hours were longer. We ready to go get my baby and then practice breaks out. So I started teaching first grade, and I got my first class. Long story short, I improved their behavior and their learning and their grades all in the same class. And I've been doing it that way ever since, okay? So now my tutoring coaching, I home. You can do a little bookcase. It could be a crate. It can be one of those Amazon boxes. You know what I mean? I'm doing better with my Amazon purchases, but for a while there was a lot of boxes coming in, right? So it could be whatever. But have your child pick out books. I remember the first time I got a load of books. I went on eBay. I spent like $300 and I got so many books. Okay, books for Jazzy's age, books for Maya's age. And it was great, you know, and they just were like a kid in a candy store. See you later, hon. Like a kid in a candy store. So, just books. Anywhere you can find books that you can find for cheap or buy in bulk, get them and have your child pick them, okay? And then they can design their own little library, okay? So that's the first one. Also, what you want to do is you want to have a word wall up, okay? You want to have little notes up. I started it, of course, with my daughters, but my youngest daughter, she writes little notes on her door, on the paper, and she posts it on her door. It's talking about she's scheduling parties in her room and inviting us. Like, Maya, she could have a party by herself at any time. She tell you on the note, she'll write the party, she'll write who's invited, she'll write what time it is, you know what I mean? So notes, like people, here, I have a message for you, read it, okay? Also, write little post-it notes and put it in your child's backpack or on top of their book or on top of their device. You know, we're very much into devices nowadays, but just little post-it notes for them to read themselves. If they're young and they're trying to learn how to read, or if they're older and they're struggling readers, always communicate with them, not just with words, but also with little notes, okay? Leave little notes on the refrigerator, okay? Rules of the house, have it up, okay? So these are just a couple of the ways to do it, and I'll give you one more bonus one. You want to do a word train where you're creating sentences, but you're using like index cards or post-it notes, and you'll write the first word and then you post it here, and then a little bit down the wall you write the next word and post it, and they gotta read the wall. That's what I call read the wall. They're reading the wall to see what the end of the sentence is going to be. So just little things like that get your child to be looking for things to read and practicing their reading more and more. They have to see it in their environment, okay? A lot of kids, we grabbing a device, we want to, and being on a phone all day or playing a game, we want their eyes to not be so focused on that. We want their eyes to be focused on the learning that's going around in their environment. So that's number one. Number two, independent reading time. Every child needs independent reading time, and that means moms, okay, and dads too, and I know it's hard. They have to sit down with a book, and they can't talk, they can't ask for help, and you have to walk away. You have to walk away, not sitting down next to them to make sure they're reading right. Have independent time, have them sit down and read over think about how like a couple of weeks from now, or a month from now, or 2 months from now, with your child having a scheduled independent reading time and them looking at a book. They might not do it perfectly the first time. They may be frustrated the first time. They may feel like when they first start, I can't do this, or this is hard, right? Because they're used to having help. Be strong enough to still be consistent and have them sit there and not help them, so that they can look at the book, and when they start to look at the words, their brain is going to start to work and start to break it down, okay? You want them to do that. A lot of problems with kids with learning now is because they don't have to even learn. They don't have to think. They don't have to figure it out. As soon as they hit a tough spot, somebody's always swooping in to help them get past it. But when they sit, and I see this in my students, and I see this in my children, I've been seeing this for years. When we step back and we have them actually look at it, they start to figure things out, okay? Put 2 and 2 together. That's what we want. They need that independent reading time. Number 3, you want to become a reading coach. A reading coach for your child. What does that mean? That means we talked about the independent reading time, right? Your child is reading by themselves, and you may hear them in the kitchen. You may hear them struggling at some point, right? But you stay in the kitchen, okay? You don't come out. You got the spoon in your hand. You was over there cooking and everything, and you out with the spoon trying to help. No, let them do their thing. But then there's time when mommy or daddy sits down with me, and they're gonna listen to me read. I'm gonna read, and then when I have a tough word, I can tell them this word is a word that I'm having some trouble with, and they'll hear it, and then now I can get coached. So there's a specific time where you sit down and you work with your child, but you gotta listen to them first. You gotta listen to them. You gotta hear them struggle. You gotta hear how they read the word so that you can know exactly how to coach them. Take your time, and then work with them, coach them on it. And then the next time they have their independent reading time, they're going to be more familiar with the word. They might even remember how to read it themselves, or it might take a couple tries. That's okay. But this combination, independent reading time, followed by a reading coach, it could be for 10, 15 minutes, right? Will help your child become better at reading, okay? And they'll be excited to read it themselves. Number 4, give your child reading responsibilities. I'm thinking about when I was a little girl. I used to see my grandmother, who had up to a 3rd grade education. She was a Jehovah's Witness, and members of her church used to come with her. We used to be in the house playing and everything. They would sit at that table, and my grandmother would be sitting there, and she was learning how to read. And that inspired me so much. I think that really affected why I'm so passionate about reading, and at any age. Kids who are older in my program and come in, they might even be in high school, and they are struggling readers. They're reading on a 2nd grade level. Come on, okay? Because it's never too late. I got that example when I was younger, and also when I go out to the store with my grandmother, she would ask me to read the signs for her in the store, okay? So that right there was a reading responsibility for me. I'm a young girl. I feel all, proud. I want to help my grandmother, you know what I mean? So give your child reading responsibilities. When we go out, I want to, here's the list. Tell me what's on the grocery list that we have to buy today. What's on the shopping list? Okay, what aisle is it? Okay, good. They like that. It's like a little treasure hunt. All right, so let's go in the store. Let's go in the aisle and find. Okay, find it in the aisle. They're looking at, but make sure they read the label, right? Reading responsibilities, okay? Number 5, read in front of an audience. So that's very important. That has been taken out of the schools largely. Reading in front of an audience. I understand that it's a lot that the teachers have to teach every day. I understand that a lot of teachers may be dealing with behaviors in the classroom as well. And I understand a lot of kids act out because they don't want to do the work, or they're struggling, and they're struggling readers. So, and also I've heard this, and I've spoken to teachers, right? And I was a teacher, a special education teacher, so I understand where they're coming from. But you don't want them to be embarrassed, right? When they come into my program, everybody reads aloud. Everybody reads aloud, and then if they really are struggling to read and they get past a passage, I'm like, go get mom, so that they can read in front of them. They feel so proud to be able to read now in front of their mother, or in front of their dad, or in front of their sisters and brothers. It's very important for kids to read in front of an audience. Let's help them get past being embarrassed. Let's equip them and teach them to not give up, not be afraid of failure. And you need to teach the people in your house, your family, how to be an audience, how to be supportive, how to listen, how to look, how to be patient while they're reading, how to congratulate them when they're finished. This is what I've taught my students for years, so nobody feels embarrassed to read aloud. Because even though They may be in a group with somebody who's a stronger reader than them. They know this is my time. This is what I'm reading. Everybody's going to be patient. Everybody's going to wait. Then when I'm done, they're going to say, good job. Plus, Miss Sharita's over here being a big cheerleader. Like, you go, boy. I knew you was going to get that. Oh, snap. I thought I was going to catch you slipping. You got that, right? So they get excited about reading because they feel supported. They feel encouraged. And they're not worried about getting it wrong. Teach them how to embrace that failure, learn from it, get up, and keep it moving. Okay? They must read in front of an audience. So you sit down, get your kids to sit down, the cousins to sit down when they come over. You know what I mean? Have everybody get up and take turns reading something, right? Audience. That is so important. All right? Next, we got 10 minutes left. Number 6. Have your child read the same chapter or story every day until it is mastered. Until it is mastered. If you want your child to develop fluency, if you want your child to pay attention to detail, because don't skip a letter, don't skip a, don't skip the pronounce that S at the end of the word. I'm very meticulous. They have to pronounce the word exactly the way it is written, okay? A lot of kids are used to reading, and if they get close enough to get the gist, they get to keep it moving. Not in my class and not in your homes. Because they're learning how to be disciplined readers. They're learning how to pay attention to detail. They're learning how to keep going until they get it right. There's so much behavioral growth that will happen when you are creating a reading environment. They have independent reading time. They have to sit down. They have to focus. They have to be able to function independently, which is what we teach our children here. To be able to function independently, so they don't need an aid. They don't need the teacher coming every 5 seconds to help them. Okay, they can stay in their chair, right? So much behavioral growth that's going to happen when your child is doing these things. Okay, so every day until it's mastered. Doesn't matter if they're complaining about it. They're going to complain about it in the beginning until they get it, this is how it flows, right? I never worry about the complaining. I don't. Because I already know at the end they're going to be successful and they're going to be very proud of themselves, and then they're going to be begging me to read, okay? They're going to be and that's what you want. How to get your child to read more. How to get your child to become a motivated reader, self-motivated, okay? So because of all that, I don't do it again. Go back and read it again. All right, read that sentence 2 times. Go back and do it again. You missed one, go back. So you know what happens after they see me? This is me being a reading coach. This is me being a reading coach right here. You know what happens? Mastered. You know what happens? After they see me stopping them and going back, and if they miss a word, like I'm watching them like a hawk, okay? If they miss a letter, if they miss a word, if they skip a word, if they don't pronounce it correctly, I see them all ages, from 4 years old all the way up into my high school students, okay? I just got my first college student, so she's pretty new. But all the other grades I've been teaching for a while. What they'll do is they stop themselves. They catch the word themselves. They go back and pronounce the word themselves because they want to get it before I get it, okay? And at first they're doing it because they don't want to have to go back and reread the sentence. But you know what I noticed? Not only do they go back and reread the sentence themselves, but they'll read it a couple of times to make sure they practice it. What am I doing at that point? They got it down. You know what I mean? They're developing self-discipline. They're like, I want to get this sentence right. So they'll do it, or they're like, no, Miss Sharita, I got it. Right? I got it. Wait a minute. Let me get it myself. Let me get it. And then they concentrate. This is what you want. You want your child to get to the point where they really want to conquer their own reading. Okay? And once they have the building blocks in place, they got that foundation that we always talk about. Every child should have a strong literacy foundation. If there are holes in it, we do what we need to do to fill them up. Okay? Because once we fill up them holes, it's just growth in reading after that. Okay? So once they get that, they're just going to keep growing and reading. They're going to be excited about their turn to read, and they're going to do their best, and then they have to pay attention, if you have more than one child, to the other child reading aloud. They have to pay attention to it and be ready when it's their turn to read. So Miss Sharita is putting reading aloud back in learning, okay? Because I remember when I was a child, this is how it happened. I'm old school. So I remember being in class and having a book, and there's a lot of kids. And when it's my turn, I have to be ready, and I'm reading. I got my hand on the book, I got my finger doing this. I'm reading while another student is reading. So when it gets to my turn, the student in front of me, okay, it's almost my turn. I'm gonna be ready. Gets to my turn, I'm gonna do my best to read, because I only got a couple sentences, I only have a paragraph, right? We gotta put this back in. We can't change the schools, but what we're doing is we are improving our children's behavior and learning from home so that we can send them to school equipped for success. We don't want our children to be in a classroom struggling to read or not being able to read. Teacher writing on the board and they can't read it. Or they have a worksheet in front of them and the aide has to sit next to them and read the worksheet and explain everything. No way. Absolutely not. Okay? And if that's your child's situation right now, that is completely temporary. All right? We also don't want our children shying away or running away from big words. We don't want that either. So we want them to be confident readers. We want them to be self-motivated readers. We want them to be equipped to not only read, but that we want them to be able to function at or above their grade level in the classroom. Okay? So these right here, these are some tips that we can use from home. These are some tips right here. I'm telling you, if you use these tips and write them down, actually this is a checklist. DM us and we will send it to you. You can print it out, hang it up. I have it hung up on here by magnetic eraser there, but it can easily go up on your refrigerator, right? Put one in place at a time. Get the system flowing and watch your child's growth and success, because every child should be able to read. I'm very passionate about that. Every child should be able to read, and if there's any child that's reading below grade level, that's temporary. That's just what was going on. That's not what's going to be going on in the future, because we're about to change that, right? Right, people? Right, people? So very important. Let's get that done. Now, we have a few minutes left, so I want to tell you, make the announcement right now that at 12:30, I'm going to be going over to Zoom. I'm going to sit down in front of this laptop. I'm going to get myself some tea first and sit with some ginger in it and sit down at this laptop, and I'll be available for questions. If anybody have any questions, if you have been trying to get your child to read at home and they're acting out, because I didn't talk about that here, okay? That happens too. So this could be easier said than done, right? But this is the structure. Once you put the structure in place, once you put this structure in place, and if you stick to it, you will notice some great behavioral improvement. But for in the moment, what do I do if I understand that that's tough? So I'm available for questions after this live. I'll be on from 12:30 to 1. And if you have any questions, you can join me there. Okay? All right? Tune in next Saturday. We're going to have another live for you. Okay? We're going to be posting that live soon, because I haven't decided what I wanted to do yet. I have some ideas. Also, why don't you, in a comment section, why don't y'all let me know some of the topics you want me to talk about when it comes to reading, when it comes to literacy, when it comes to behavior, maybe some school issues. You want to learn how to get along better with your child's school or develop a partnership. Just tell me what's on your mind. A lot of the topics that I discussed and what's in my action plans are based off of my experience as a teacher and mental health specialist and mom. But a lot of it also is when I meet with moms during the free consultations, they tell me what they want their child to accomplish. I'll put that in the action plan. So now, and I keep amending my action plans to include everything that everybody wants, and then I customize it to each individual family. So give me your comments. Let me know what you want to hear about, what you want to learn about. Coming soon, we will be opening up a Facebook group. In the Facebook group, I'm going to be actually teaching strategies. So I'm very excited about that. I'm such a nerd, y'all. I love it. I'm such a nerd. I love to teach, okay? So I'm going to be teaching you guys how I have taught so many kids how to learn all their sight words. Adult sight word list, over 300 sight words. I'm still teaching kids in my program that today. And I've taught lots of kids how to master those words. I'll be teaching my reading techniques. I'll be teaching my spelling techniques, okay? I'll be teaching math, my math techniques, math word problems, you know? I'll be teaching about customized behavioral interventions. So, if you really want to get down, y'all, then stay tuned for send me a message so you can be on the waiting list so when we open up the Facebook. But let me know when y'all send a message. Let me know exactly what you want. So when I open up the Facebook group, you will get emailed and invited to join, and we're going to get it in. I cannot wait. Love you guys so much, okay? Looking forward to seeing and hearing your comments, and also talking with you in the after party. That's Jessie up there sneezing, the weather changing, so she got the little allergies going on. All right, love y'all so much. Believe in yourself, believe in your child, honey, and always remember that growth is unlimited. Peace.